Okay. Going live for the first time in a while. Going live for the first time in a while. First time going live in a while. Gotta make this one good. Gotta make this one good. Especially summer coming up. Scholarship season is not over. A lot of people think that once kind of like school year's over, it's like, okay, I can chill. But that's like the biggest thing you don't want to do. Um, Summertime is a great time to really lock in on the scholarships. You have more time. You can spend, a couple hours a week and still have a ton of your summer to actually, actually take the time to do scholarships and stuff. Um, I haven't been live in a while, so I guess I'll just introduce myself real quick. I'm Sade, also known as the Scholarship Junkie. I have an 11-time scholarship winner, and now I have like a bunch of resources, including my page, my website, thescholarshipcollective.com, and then of course my personal brand page, go.scholarshipjunkie.com, with a ton of different resources. Pretty much anything you can think of, I have it. Scholarship, nursing school scholarship stuff, medical school scholarship stuff, law school, undergraduates, high school seniors, pretty much everything. So we cover a lot of stuff. But mostly today, I feel like we need to talk about like the plan going into the summertime, because I think a lot of people right now don't have like a plan going into summertime of like what their scholarship situation is going to be like. And like a lot of people are kind of just like, all right, I'm kind of done with school. I'm going to chill until, the next school year comes around. And like you can 100% do that. I just don't recommend it. I think this is a great time. Prince Ahmad, thank you for the likes. Thank you for the likes, Ahmad. Let's get some love in the chat if you also are ready to get yourself together together for the summer with scholarships. Where are people from the live right now? Like, where are you located? Where are you guys located in the live right now? Drop it in the chat. Where's everybody located? I'm in New York. Where's everybody else located? If you're just coming into the live, we're talking about where you guys are located, where you're living. From Gambia. Where is that? Very interesting. Very cool. Where's everybody else coming from? It's okay if you're shy. I get it. All good. But yeah, so I would say, West Africa. Okay, cool. That's really cool. I think, I feel like school's about to end in like what, a couple of weeks, or if it hasn't ended already. I think it's one of those things where, you spend a couple of weeks to chill, get yourself acclimated and enjoy a couple of weeks of your summer. And then I would say, because it's better to consistently put in a couple hours of effort throughout the weeks leading up to school starts than to start, like, not do anything the whole summer and then try to rush everything in terms of scholarships, especially if you're a high school senior. That process really, honestly, should be, you're between, a lot of people don't really start their college application process until the school year's already started, which in reality that really should probably have started the year before that, the summer before junior year is probably when you have the most time and you can really hone in on it the most. But I'm a transfer student from, hi Anthony, hello, thank you for the gift, I appreciate it, and Kobe as well. I'm a transfer student from Maryland. Any advice? I'm coming from community college. Kobe, yeah, sure. What specifically are you looking for advice wise in terms of scholarships or just being a transfer student in general? Like, what is it that you're looking for advice about? Just so I like make sure I answer the question to my best abilities. Congrats on your transfer. That's awesome. Transferring is definitely not easy, so I commend it. I don't know if you're mid-year transfer or not either, but that's also pretty cool. Any scholarships for Jamaican students in Jamaica? So my resources are mainly for students who are in the U.S., studying in the U.S. I don't have a lot of resources for Jamaican students. We post some international scholarships in our newsletter every week, but other than that, we don't do a lot of out of the country scholarships. Mostly just students who are studying in the U.S. Been applying to a lot of schools, and I have a GPA of 3.56. I would say, you know, your biggest, let's see, I mean, honestly, when you're an international student trying to study in the U.S., I think the biggest thing is trying to get scholarships in places or in schools that give aid to international students. Liami, thank you for the likes. Thank you, appreciate that. Thank you for the gifted badge as well. So yeah, when you're an international student, I think the biggest thing is getting funding, obviously. Like, and the biggest way you're gonna do that, like, we focus on like outside scholarships. So like bridging the gap between, you know, whatever your school gave you and what you have left to pay. But for an international student, your gap is going to be way bigger than someone else, because right, you don't get financial aid and all the other things. So that's why I recommend like focusing on schools specifically that give aid to international students. So the Common App. So the Common application, I don't know if you've heard of it before, but it's essentially a big application where you can apply to like a bunch of different schools at once. A lot of them you can even sort by schools that don't have fee waivers, and you can also sort by schools who give international funding as well. The Common App allows you to search things in that way. So that would be a good place to start in terms of like, okay, I know this school gives international aid. I don't have to pay an application fee to apply to it. So, you know, that gives you a little bit better of, you know, a situation, because I know a big thing with like international students is not really having the fees to be able to apply for a lot of these schools. So like I would start with the Common App, because it's mostly schools in the US, but there's like over 1,100 colleges in there. Most of them are schools in the US, and then there's like a very like little subsection of schools in like Europe and a couple other places. So, but mostly schools in the US for sure. Josiah, thank you for the gifter badge. Thank you. Let's see. Hold on, let me go back up so I can read these questions. Okay, I'm going to start this fall in U of Alabama. Is that Alabama? They could be literally anything. U of A could be anything. Could be Auburn. I don't know. Anyway, do I have any scholarships? So yes, I have a ton of scholarship resources. This whole page is dedicated completely to teaching you guys about scholarships and helping you win them. And then on top of that, I have a free newsletter called the Scholarship Collective. That's what this link is. It's just a free newsletter that you can sign up for. Comes out every Sunday morning, every week. And then also Wednesdays for like state and local scholarships. So we have 2 newsletters that we send out every week. And then on the website, there's a bunch of different scholarships on there. But on top of that, we have like specific scholarship resources if you're like interested in a specific thing. We have a big free scholarship list, which is basically just like a spreadsheet that you can search and filter. We have a lot of opportunities in there. Completely free spreadsheet. That's in the link in my bio as well. So yeah, I would start there as a starting point. We have a lot of different resources, so definitely poke around the Scholarship Collective, and then also go.scholarshipjunkie.com, because those are like that's where I house all of the resources in those 2 places. So I would definitely start there. Arizona, congrats, University of Arizona. 4-year universities are expensive. That is very true. Let's see. Liama, thank you for the gift. Okay, mostly scholarships. I applied for about 16. I want to maximize my chances. 4-year universities are expensive. Yes, 100%. I went to a 4-year university, and it was a private school, so I get it. It is very expensive. I had so many whammies. Like, I was an out-of-state student. I was going to a private school. Like, so I get it. Both the schools I went to were private schools, and it was definitely difficult. But I think the thing that is going to separate you from other people for sure is the people who are applying to scholarships year-round. I tend to see a lot of people like kind of like not really think about it throughout the entire like school year pretty much, and then like right about now like kind of try to bum rush and do stuff over the summer, and then they give up because maybe like in that span of the 3 months that they apply they don't win anything. But like in reality, like, I was applying for scholarships all throughout the year, right? So not just June to August, but like also in September and October and November, December, you know? So that really increases your chances just by applying year round, because you're able to, like, there may be a scholarship that like opened and closed in December and you didn't even know about it because you weren't even looking. You weren't even looking during that period of time. So I see the best success with students who are applying year round consistently, but then are also making sure that they're applying to scholarships that are super relevant to them, because I think that a lot of times you can get distracted by like all these like different ones you could apply for, but you really should be prioritizing putting your best foot forward on the applications that you have a higher chance of winning. So that's like my first like advice I usually give. So yeah, Prince Ahmad, any school that gives international student, yeah, I would check out internationalstudent.com. I would check out the Common Application website. I think you can find schools that do international funding a little bit easier. I also recommend you follow someone on TikTok as well, and she has Instagram as well. Her name is Veronica, and she has this her whole like mission and premise is to help international students study abroad. It's called Borderlist. Borderlist.io is the website, and then her handle is also Borderlist. It's like a blue color logo. So I recommend like for international students to start there, because she has way more in-depth resources for like navigating being an international student trying to study in the US. So I would definitely, she went to, I think, NYU or something like that. Yeah, so like, and she's helped other students do it. So I would definitely start there if you're an international student in USA, you want to study in the USA, Canada, whatever. I think Veronica's page will be like the best starting point for you for sure. Let me continue to go down these comments. 1 second. Let's see. Thank you for the follow, TC Babe. Come on, where is this? Let's see. How many scholarships should I be applying to if I want to cover like 30K in tuition? Also, is it too late? So no, it's definitely not it's never, the good thing about scholarships is that it's literally never too late. Like, there are people who like start applying to scholarships like their senior year of college and still are able to win and get some good a dent in their tuition / loans and stuff during college, for sure. It's definitely not too late. But I will say, for an amount of 30K, like a $30,000 bill, you definitely would have wanted to start it sooner than now, right? Because the thing that a lot of people don't realize when they're going through this scholarship process is that a lot of scholarships are awarded 1 year out. So like, a lot of the scholarships that you're gonna see, like for example, in November, December, October, those months are not really for this year usually. It's usually for next academic year, right? So that would mean same concept. For this semester, you need to kind of be applying to scholarship the semester before. There are still a ton of scholarships due throughout the summer that you can apply to for this upcoming semester too. But I just think in general, to give yourself the best chances at covering that big of a gap between your financial aid or whatever and what you need to pay, that is definitely like you need more time to amass that much. Is it possible? Absolutely. But I think that with a 30K amount, you probably have to be a little bit realistic about like what it is that you're going to be able to accomplish in the next 3 months, right? Because 3 months is not a lot of time. Like, for example, you could get a scholarship maybe closes in like June, right? And then they usually probably won't even tell you if you want or not until like August or September. At that point, your school's already started, right? So you kind of have to be strategic with like, okay, you can probably take out a maximum of 20K in loans a year, I believe it is, for the federal side. And then there's 10K that still probably needs to get paid. So like, I think a more realistic goal for this short period of time is probably 10,000. And then you can go, because this is something I did as well. Like, I took out student loans when I first got into college as well. And I won a bunch of scholarships while I was in college, and then I paid off the debt that I amassed when I first started. So it's like, it's never too late, of course, but I think you definitely need a lot more strategic planning for like, getting your gap down in such a short amount of time, right? It's definitely not too late. BX scholarship websites and information. Yes, I have a ton of resources in the link in my bio, and as well as my website, thescholarshipcollective.com, which is above my big head right here. So if you look right above that, you'll see the website. But then like if you just click my profile and click the link in my bio, I have a ton of resources. I have a free scholarship list. I have multiple scholarship websites that I use and that I use to help my students. So yeah, that would definitely start there as a starting point for sure. And then on my profile, I also have a scholarship strategy playlist to kind of talk through like how I won scholarships and like kind of the steps I was taking. So definitely that too. Lila, thank you for the gift. Appreciate it. Lila, teach me your ways. I'm trying. Lila, I'm trying to teach you my ways. This whole page is dedicated to it. My resources are dedicated to it. My newsletter that comes out every week is dedicated to it. So yeah, I've been making content on this particular subject for almost 3 years now. So I'm trying to teach everybody the ways. It's just that like educational pages like that are not like mainstream like or don't get, and I know I'm saying this as someone who has like a good amount of followers, but like compared to like other things, like my type of page definitely doesn't get like as much push and reach as like, you know, other types of educational like general knowledge type things like hacks and tips and tricks, right? So it's a very specific subset of people who come to my page, which I love because like you guys are looking for something specific. You're trying to, you know, get rid of your debt, or you're trying to go to school debt free. And like I think also it's like, you know, because I didn't, you know, I graduated debt free, but like I didn't know that I was going to do that, right? Like I took out loans my freshman year just like every other college student. Like I had loans and like I had to, you know, figure out like if I was going to continue to do that or what I was going to do. So I think it's just like, it's also like taking the steps to be like, okay, let's just say you only won like $5,000 like of scholarships all 4 years of college. That means that's $20,000 less in loans that you're gonna have after graduation. That's a whole car payment. That's a whole down payment on a house for some places. So like it's like you got to think about it a little bit long term too. It's like it feels like a lot of work right now, but like later on you'll be like very thankful. Is that a book? Is that no? It's a flag. It's a flag. Do you do private sessions? So yes, I do. So our summer coaching is actually, I'm doing something a little different this year. Usually I do open up my summer coaching for the whole summer, but this summer I'm only opening up for July. And the reason I'm doing it that way is because I want to be able to take on as many students as possible, but have you guys have like a positive experience. So I think this year I'm going to do only 1 month worth of coaching for July. So yeah, I'll have that stuff open on my page, and if you are in my newsletter, the Scholarship Collective and stuff, that's a free newsletter. If you're signed up for that, you'll get emails about it and stuff. So yeah, I do private sessions, but at the moment I'm not doing them right now, but I'm going to be doing them in July. So that's the starting point. My daughter and son need this so bad. Yeah, definitely. There are just not a lot for graduate school. Yeah, graduate school's a little tricky, right? Because I also got scholarships for graduate school as well. Graduate schools are a little bit tricky, but I will say there are still a ton of scholarships related, especially like if you're if you're doing a grad program, usually, not always, but graduate programs are pretty specific. So they're like whatever you're pursuing, right? You're pursuing a specific discipline. That discipline typically has some kind of professional association attached to it, or if you're like looking to study like a specific certification after graduation or something like that, though that like certification has its own governing body, and that governing body offers scholarships to grad students and, you know, things like that. Another thing about graduate school is like a lot of times you have like things like fellowships, which are like they also pay for your school, but you sometimes, not always, have like research or like volunteer things you have to do in you know, basically in compensation for getting the money to pay for school. But again, grad school, it's like definitely like you kind of got to be planning for that, right? A little bit farther out, because like a lot of fellowships, not only are they competitive, but again, they're awarded like a year or so out. So yeah, for sure. But there is still a lot of scholarships out there for graduate students. It's hard when they're not like, it's because they're not only for graduate students. You're still competing against like everybody, undergrads, high school, and all that stuff too. But there's definitely some for graduate students. So I have a scholarship interview next week. Any tips? I would say like for a scholarship interview, if the one thing I will say, and this goes for any interview, not just like scholarship interview, is like I hate the term like elevator pitch. That's not really like natural, right? Like and it sounds fake for most of the time. Every time I hear someone's elevator pitch, I'm like, that's weird. That's not who you are, right? Like, so I would say for any interview, including a scholarship interview, be ready to answer like questions more broadly about you, like in the sense of like, what's a story or an interaction or something that kind of describes who you are in a nutshell, the type of person that you are. Are you a person who is a team player? Okay, don't say that you're a team player. Tell a story that demonstrates when you were a team player. Does that make sense? So kind of have something ready to describe the things about you with a story. That's be my main tips for the scholarship interview, or any interview for that matter. It's not like an elevator pitch. It's more like, who are you, right? And what story signifies that in like 2 minutes. Okay, Soul Sister said, I can't afford to take care of both of their college. Yeah, no, most people can't. Like, college is not cheap at all, like, I'm grateful to have gotten enough scholarships to pay for it, but like, yeah, my parents, they couldn't either. And like, it's hard because like I sympathize with a lot of parents out there, but I think that you have to like somehow like explain to your own kid how important this is, because I see the best success in students in terms of winning scholarships and stuff when they're invested in the process. Like, it's not just, oh, my mom's making me do this or my dad's making me do this. Like, no, I understand the implications that student loans can have on my life, and I really want to mitigate that as much as possible. If you can get a teenager or a undergraduate student in that mindset, then they're gonna have a way easier time. They're gonna be more motivated, they're gonna be more driven. And so that's the biggest thing I see, like, problem wise, in terms of like I have coached people. They've spent hundreds of dollars with me. They wouldn't show up for sessions. Like, it's like you gotta be invested in the process, and I think a lot of students aren't. And the students that are always successful. I have never worked with a student who was like physically invested in their own process themselves and not their parents pushing them, and they didn't succeed. They almost always did. So I think, I don't know what, like, every student's gonna be different, but if you can get someone to think about that and like understand how it's gonna affect their life, then I feel like you'll be able to, like, they'll be able to be invested in the process. Okay, let's see. I'm an AB student, but I recently got an F in my dual enrollment class. Is that going to hurt me? I don't know about your school, but my school's dual enrollment like classes didn't actually affect the high school GPA. But I think every school is different, so like I don't know, because like my friend, she was doing dual enrollment for in the community college and stuff, and those community college those credits that she did for dual enrollment, they like affected her like community college GPA or whatever, but not her high school GPA. So I don't know. I think you need to ask your counselor about that, because I don't know, like, every school is different. Like, the dual enrollment could or could not hurt your GPA. I'm not really sure. Yeah, so how do you organize your scholarships? Should I schedule application time, weekly goals? Yeah, absolutely. So I think that's a big part of like why people really like that's why I'm going to do the boot camp this year in July, because a lot of people like the structure of like, okay, here, like, every week, this is what we're going to do, this is how we're going to do it, this is how we're going to develop our stories, etc., etc. So I would say, before you, like, this is just starting from some, like, if you've never done any scholarship applications before in your life and you have no idea where to start, this is what I would do. The first thing I would do is, it doesn't matter which ones, pick 3 websites that you're going to use to look for scholarships. You pick your 3 websites, and then boom, you have either a spreadsheet or a Google Doc, whatever you're more comfortable using. You take those 3 websites, and for about 2 hours, I would say, right now, school's over pretty much, so you're not busy, whatever. I'm being like, this is for somebody who wants to be aggressive and like spend a lot of time on it. So like 2 hours every week, research all these different scholarships, when their deadlines are, put them in your spreadsheet, put them in your Google Doc, put them all in one place. And then after you've done that, say, okay, I'm going to take it, after you've done that, do on a completely separate day, you're going to go in and look at all the stuff that you put together, all the things, and you're going to rank each one of those scholarships from highest to lowest of which ones you think you actually have the best chance of winning. And then starting from the ones, I would say 1 to 5, 5 being, I think I have the best shot of winning this, you start with all the 5s. You in order of the due date and whether you think you're going to win it or not. start with the fives and apply and just do these so just do the essay application and like see what the requirements are. Like I have a little tracker, like a little scholarship planner or whatever on my website, but you don't even need to buy that one. You could just do exactly what I do. I do scholarship name, I do due date, I do essay yes or no, resume yes or no, transcript yes or no, and then I do the scholarship link. And like if you can put that all in order, that'll tell you like, oh, which one of these is gonna be the most work versus the least work, and that'll help you like kind of categorize once you have your categories of like fives, fours, threes, twos, ones. And then after you do all that, you know what scholarships you want to apply to, you know when they're due. Now you can say, okay, which of the ones that have essays, what are the organize it by prompt. Which one of these scholarships have similar prompts? And then you can write your essay basically to be able to use that same essay on all the ones that have the similar or same prompt. So many of these scholarships have the same freaking essay. They have the same freaking essay, same question, struggles, all that stuff. It's all the same crap. So that's why I say once you have your list, organize it by which ones have the same essays, because you can submit them all at the same time. And obviously you're gonna tweak a little bit, whatever, depending on the question and the organization that you're applying to, but like that's the starting point. And then if you like, I don't know, like some people like don't know where to start with the writing aspect too. I totally get that. You know, we have a whole like academy about writing your scholarship essays and stuff. It's called the Scholarship Essay Academy. We actually have a free event tomorrow if anyone's interested in going. We have a free scholarship live essay critique. So every week in the Scholarship Essay Academy, we have live essay critiques where basically you submit your essay and we critique it live on the call. Like your name's not associated with it, but if you want to talk about your essay in front of other people and stuff, you can. Tomorrow we have a free event doing that. The link in my bio to register for that is tomorrow is in my bio. If you want to join that, it's a free event. It's normally not free, so definitely check that out. But yeah, that's how I would do it. If I had to start all over, that's what I would do, because I think that gets you organized the most possible. I don't know if that was too much information or not enough, but you let me know. All right. My brother just graduated in December. He's asking if he can still apply to help pay the debt. So, most of the time when you're talking about the scholarships and stuff, like scholarships are usually for people who are currently enrolled in school. There's very few out there that's specifically to pay off your debt because they require you to be enrolled. So even the scholarships that I won, the only time like you could like get away with it maybe is if like they don't require you to be enrolled, but that's just very far and few between. But even if you had a scholarship or you got a scholarship and then like, for example, like I had scholarships that didn't go to the school but went directly to me. I've had that happen. So like in those cases I usually just used it to pay off the loans I took off my freshman year. So like that's like it would be harder to do it if you've already graduated. But if you're going to be enrolled in like a master's program soon, or you're enrolled in like community college classes or something else, then you could win scholarships because you're still currently enrolled in school. So that's just like a little caveat. That's like normal. Brayden, thank you for the follow. Okay. Can I start applying to scholarships in 11th grade for universities in France, Canada, and the UK? Well, typically you would need to be like, you know, about to get enrolled. So, you know, for example, like if you're starting in the fall semester, you want to be applying the fall semester before. So like, I think you're slightly too early. You probably need to wait a couple of more months, and it depends what term you're trying to do as well. So yeah, I would say you're probably a little bit early. But I also think you should probably reach out to Borderless.io. That's a good page, Veronica, for like students who are looking to study in other countries and the US, like study abroad in general. Okay, currently looking at grad scholarships. Yeah, graduate school scholarships is definitely obviously like more rare in the sense that like a lot of the scholarships that are available for master's students or graduate students specifically are like specific to like a program, like, or specific to a discipline. So like it'll only be for like accounting, or it'll only be for like finance, or it'll only be for like social work or whatever. So it's like it's different because you really need to look into like the organizations that like maybe like govern the profession a little bit, that will help you like find more scholarships for actual master students. Okay, Truck says, I'm late, but what is the best tip you can give to write an impressive essay to win the scholarship? So honestly, I think the best tip to write an essay is definitely, number one, is to not ID. This is like a new tip to me, because I have read so many essays. Like at this point in my career with this, I've legitimately read over 700 essays at this point. And so I can tell you, like, not last year, but the year before, yeah, so so I'm going to say 2024, I can tell anytime that something's written with AI, because I've seen all the essays before that written by 16, 17-year-olds that are not written by AI, and then now I have this stark difference. So what I'm saying is, I would not use AI to ideate your essay. When I say ideate your essay, I'm saying do not use ChatGPT or whatever to get the idea on what to write your essay about. And the reason I'm saying that is because everybody's going to get like very similar results, right? So you start to see the same themes, and this is even before AI. With AI, it's so much worse now. So I would say your superpower with your essay that's going to make it impressive is for it to be an authentic, only you could possibly have written it, original idea with your essay. So everybody's version of that is going to be different, but the thing that's going to make it impressive is that it doesn't sound like everybody else. You can use AI for like, grammar and stuff, but other than that, like, you need to ideate your own essay idea. It has to come from you, it has to come from within, or it's not going to be original. I'm 63 and in college. Can you assist me in the right direction? So, so we have a adult learner scholarship list on my website, go.scholarshipjunkie.com. So it's basically a scholarship list for adult learners who are like, obviously above college age, like, 25 plus. And it's for, working parents, things like that, moms, stuff like that. So I would definitely check that out. Okay. Next, Suki, thank you for the follow. Yo, I'm watching, it's so funny your name is Suki, bro, because I was like just watching this random show on Netflix called like Bet or whatever, and one of the characters' names is Suki. So funny, so weird. Anyways, next question. Thank you, Jay Venice, for the like and the gifter badge. Neek's World, thank you for the gifter badge. Kobe, thank you for the rose. I feel like those weird people, thank you for the rose. Like, no, I'm just kidding. I'm not going to do that crap. But I do appreciate the rose, though. I start grad school in the fall. I need help. So yeah, Neeks, I was just actually talking about graduate school, and graduate school scholarships. So I don't know what your grad program is going to be in, but regardless, it doesn't really matter. So whatever your field is going to be and stuff, I would definitely recommend starting with like, even if you don't plan on necessarily getting the certification, like if you have certifications in your field, like those certifications are like, they're regulated or whatever by a governing body, and that governing body usually is some kind of professional organization that usually gives scholarships. So that would be my first starting point, is like and this is for undergrads too, like if you know your major, like potentially what you might want to get into, look into organizations that are professional for that specific thing, because that's going to be your best bet at finding scholarships for anybody, but definitely for graduate students especially. Kobe, you're welcome. This was God. I found this. I have to pay for my last 3 recs out of pocket, and I'm looking everywhere for how I'm going to pay for it. Yes, so I would say that, yeah. So I would say that you have to pay for your last 3 out of pockets, and I'm looking for, yeah. So I would definitely say, like, at this point in time, it's what? If you're starting in the fall, you got 3 months. That's definitely, I don't know how much your prereqs are, but like that's definitely doable to get enough scholarships to pay off some of the prereqs like now. I would definitely be applying to scholarships hard body in the next month. A lot of scholarships do come due June 1st, June 30th. So I would definitely, I have a free scholarship list in my bio if you want to start there as like a starting point. But yeah, Okay, AWell says, was the $200,000 in separate scholarships? No, so half of it was from my school, so around $100,000 was from my school, and then around the other $100,000 was from all different organizations. So I won scholarships from non-for-profit organizations, from professional organizations, from random from random companies that I don't even know what they do anymore. So I've won scholarships for community foundations and all that stuff. So I've won scholarships for both my school and all different areas. My page and my website and everything is mostly focused on those scholarships, because those scholarships you can use at any school, right? So it doesn't matter what school you go to. A lot of the people you'll see who like win like a millions of scholarships, billions and billions and whatever scholarships, they're like winning like, you know, scholarships from a university. Like the university saying, hey, here's a big ass scholarship, come to the school. So a lot of my scholarships were actually outside scholarships, like from all different places. So very different, because you can use it anywhere. Truck, you're welcome. Please repeat the site for the adult learners. So it's not like a specific site for adult learners. It's just that I have a specific resource on my website for adult learners. The website is go.scholarshipjunkie.com. We have a bunch of resources on the website. That's my personal branding website. And then obviously I have my newsletter website, which is the one above my big head, called thescholarshipcollective.com. And that's like my free newsletter that comes out every Sunday and Wednesday, that I think I mentioned before. You must be smart to earn 200K. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't say it's smart. I would say it's persistent. Like, yeah, I mean, I would say, yeah, like, obviously my GPA was decent and everything, but like, I think it was more about persistence, right? Because I didn't win, like, my freshman year, I really didn't win any scholarships. I was applying for over a year, and I really wasn't winning anything until I, like, stopped just, like, applying to anything and everything, and actually sat down and, like, planned a strategy about which scholarships I was going to use and how to choose those right scholarships. So that's something that, like, now that's what I try to teach on here is, like, you know, obviously know about the scholarships, research the scholarships, but then find the ones that you have the best chance of winning, right? That's like the hardest part. Please, can I use 3 years qualifications, which is to win a scholarship? I don't really know what 3 years qualification means. But cool. Khalifa, thank you for the like CC and the gifter bash CC, appreciate it. I didn't realize how much I was gonna be talking. Usually my lives are not this popping. By popping, I got 15 people in here. That's popping for me. I'm sorry. I don't go live that often. But yeah, I'm gonna get some water. So leave some questions in the chat. I'm gonna get some water. Here. In the meantime, you can listen to Beyonce for 2 seconds while I get some water. I'm gonna get some water. Be back. Okay. I'm back. I'm on a Beyonce kick right now. She was just at MetLife Stadium and I went to the concert. It was amazing. Honestly, if I had the funds, I would go again. She's MetLife 4 times. She had 3 more shows. I could go to another show, but life's expensive, so I will try another time. But anyways, but yeah, so yeah, scholarships and like paying for college in general is just like, it's very convoluted, right? So there's lots that go into scholarships and stuff. But I also had jobs in college too, you know, so it wasn't just scholarships. Okay, I just joined. Can anyone apply to these scholarships? So yeah, I mean, obviously, like, every scholarship, right, is different and has different requirements. So like, some scholarships will, for example, like, there'll be scholarships that are like only for high school seniors, and then there'll be scholarships that are only for graduate students, only for college students, or there'll be scholarships that, you know, for example, maybe for minorities, and then some that are for need based, you know. So there are like a ton of different scholarships out there. Like, we post a variety of different scholarships both on the scholarshipcollective.com and my website go.scholarshipjunkie.com. So like, it's not like one size fits all, like all scholarships you have to do this or whatever to apply to. Some of them have GPA requirements, some of them don't, right? So there's a lot of websites out there too. So like, two that I like to use, and both the websites I'm going to talk about right now are both in the link in my bio. So the first one is called Redkite, which is kind of underutilized compared to the other ones. Like, I know a lot of people probably heard of bold.org, and maybe like niche.com and scholarships.com and all that. So those are like the more like popular mainstream scholarship websites, but there are some smaller ones that are actually pretty good too. Like I said, I mean, and they're not small by any means, but smaller compared to like less known, I guess, or whatever. So Redkite is a good one. They actually just Redkite just revamped their entire like website, so it's like much easier to use now. The link for Redkite is in the link in my bio. Same with Scholarships 360. Scholarships 360 is very easy to use, and unlike a lot of the other scholarship websites you'll hear like other people talk about, Scholarships 360, you don't have to like sign up. Like, a lot of people don't like signing up, put no information and everything. You can actually use Scholarships 360 without even putting in any information. You can just use the filter buttons and look for scholarships like on the website without even signing up, which is like, I know a big thing is like privacy and stuff, so people don't even have to put in information there. You can, and it'll make it easier for you to get matched with scholarships more easily, but you can just manually search on there yourself if you want to too. Both Redkite and Scholarships 360, the link to those websites are in the link in my bio. And then obviously we have my website as well, the scholarshipcollective.com. Honestly, the scholarshipcollective.com is more to put the scholarships that I post. So I post on Instagram every single day. Like, I'm posting here too. I've been slacking these last 2 weeks. Don't look at my page. I've been sick and like a lot of other things. So, but yeah, these last two, I post every single day on Instagram. So like, the website, any scholarship you see me post on Instagram is on my website, thescholarshipcollective.com. So like, that's where I put, like, I still post other scholarships there too, but I definitely post like anything you see I post on social media, it goes on this website because it's easy for me to be like, hey, this is where it is. But anyways, ladies, thank you for the follow. I'm a transfer student with a 3.8 comp-sci GPA. What's the word? So I don't know what that means, but I'm going to assume you're talking about scholarships. And if that's the case, then I got good news for you, because computer science and like just not even just computer science, but STEM majors in general have like a tiny bit of an upper hand compared to the other majors, because there are way more companies investing in STEM and the sciences and the maths and the computer and all that stuff, engineering, all that stuff, way more, because a lot of these companies need those types of professions in order to, run the business that they run. So obviously, like, for computer science, that, like, I don't know, like, every single ethnicity or whatever has some sort of engineering association or some sort of computer science association of some kind. So I definitely recommend starting with the professional organizations. But then on top of that, like, literally you can probably just Google this. Google a list of like the top, I don't know, 50, not science, what's the word I'm looking for, software companies in the world. Every single one of them have scholarship programs that they do every single year. Amazon, they closed their future engineering one like a couple weeks ago, or like a couple months ago already. But like, in general, I would say that for computer science and like sciencey STEM majors, you definitely have a little bit of the upper hand. Like, around a third of all private scholarships are for STEM majors. So you have an upper hand on that, in that regard. But anyways, Relt, I don't know if you went over this. but are bold scholarships legit? I feel like I get the runaround on there. Okay, good question. So I'm going to answer the question in two parts. So number one, the first part is bold.org a legitimate website for scholarships? The answer to that is yes. But do I recommend that in my top, 10 websites of using? No. And not because I don't like the platform or I don't like, it's not because of any of that. It's because the level of competition on Bold.org compared to other platforms is very, very extremely high. How do I know this? Because a couple of years ago, so this is shameless plug for my scholarship. We have our own scholarship called the I Can Do Anything Scholarship. It opens next week. And so I used to host that scholarship on Bold.org. And on Bold.org, for that application, we opened it for like 2.5 months. And just to be transparent, it was like open to like high schoolers, college students, everybody. It was not limited in any way. And we had over 20,000 applications on that one scholarship. On our one scholarship, 20,000 applications in just two or 3 months, and it was a lot. And like they also do something where they kind of recommend you. So like, for example, I had 20,000 applications on my Bold.org scholarship, and in those 20,000 applications, there was another tab next to the 20,000 applications that said recommended. And I'm like, what does that mean? It's recommended. So it basically took from the 20,000 entries and everything, it recommended which ones they think that we should look at based off of our scholarship, like to pick as finalists and stuff. And I was like, okay, that's interesting. And then I noticed that every single person that they recommended, it wasn't just about their essay or whatever, it was about their entire profile and everything. So basically their scholarship algorithm or whatever is taking your profile on Bold.org, and it's it's not just analyzing the entry that you gave, the actual essay that you wrote, but your profile. So if your profile is not optimized in any way, you're at a disadvantage because it might not recommend you. Did we go through all the applications? Absolutely. We had a team go through every single application, and we chose whatever winners that we thought were the best. But there's probably so many of these organizations that just click the recommended tab, and if you're not recommended, your application is not even getting looked at. So to me, that made me feel like, okay, I don't think I'm going to recommend my students to use Bold.org, knowing that it's not really an even playing ground unless your profile is to the T is like filled out. So to me, that's why I don't use Bold.org. There are plenty of other websites to use. And then if you are going to use Bold.org, I would recommend you only apply to scholarships that are state specific. That would be my only rule if you are going to use Bold.org. If they're not state specific, don't even bother. That's my opinion, though. That's just my opinion. I'm an opinionist over here. This is not law, Bible. Just going over my experience for the last 3 years, using the website, helping students with it, and then hosting my own scholarship on that platform. So hopefully that was helpful. I'm just being transparent for what my experience is on this platform. Okay. Okay, so most of your scholarships are for U.S. citizens, not international students, and I need one. So I would recommend going to Veronica's page. She has her own page called Borderless.io, and it's basically for international students. It's basically for international students to show you how to study abroad, study in other countries, things like that. What scholarship site have you used? I try to apply and get nothing from all these sites. So like I said, I don't know if you were the chat before, but 2 good ones that I recommend, which are both in the link in my bio, is RedKite and Scholarships 360. Scholarships 360 you don't even need to sign up for. You can literally search scholarships without even signing up. So I definitely recommend that, and I definitely recommend RedKite. So those are the 2 that I recommend. Scarlett, thank you for the gift badge. Thank you, I appreciate it. Is there stuff on there for newly immigrant students who are pending getting their papers? I mean, honestly, most of the scholarships that we personally put on all of our resources are for U.S. citizens. So I will say that most of our stuff is for U.S. citizens, because that's the experience that we're coming from. That's the majority of our base. But there are definitely scholarships out there for immigrant students, for sure. There's this organization called immigrantsrising.org, who has scholarships specifically, and not just scholarships like that they do, but they have a whole resource page for scholarships for immigrants and stuff, and DACA and all that good stuff. When did you start applying for your scholarships? End of junior year, start of senior year? That's a great question, Sky. So Sky, when did you start applying for your scholarships? End of junior year, start of senior year. That's when I wish I had started applying to scholarships. So I actually had to take out student loans my freshman year of college, because I didn't do that. And I didn't start applying to scholarships until I was already in college. And I still was able to win $200,000. So if I can do it, like, I know you guys can do it with 2 extra years ahead of me. If I could go back in time, I would have started junior year. If I could go back in time and start it all over again. But it's not too late if you are already in college or in graduate school or whatever. I can't find the girl you said I should check out her TikTok page. She's on TikTok and Instagram. Her page is called Borderless.io. It's a blue symbol. It's like a blue color. You could also just Google it. Borderless.io is her website. Bria, thank you for the follow. Merlin. I'm going to be an upcoming senior. Do you know where I can apply? Yeah, there's a ton of scholarships. There's not just one place to apply for scholarships. There's a million places. I like to call pages like mine and scholarship websites like mine kind of just like a hub where I give like a lot of different scholarships and resources. I would say if you have nowhere to start, with scholarships, just start with my free scholarship list, because it's like simple. It's just a little spreadsheet to get you started, so you can see what's out there, what's available, things like that. It's linked in my bio. The free scholarship list is linked in my bio if you want to check that out. It's literally just called the free scholarship list. So yeah, I would say if you have no idea where to start there, because going through like a huge database and multiple databases, it will just overwhelm you, and then you'll just go to sleep and you'll never think about scholarships again. So I say start small, one thing at a time, ease your way into it, especially if you're just finishing school. Take a break, take a couple days off. Do you have any good tips for scholarships for a math teaching credential? Yeah, so I would say, like, I don't know what the math teaching credential is or anything like that, but like I was saying before about the graduate school stuff and this graduate school scholarships, like if you're trying to get a certification of any kind, like, and it's like a professional certification, like whatever that professional certification is, it's issued by somebody. It's regulated by somebody. So what you can do is you can go figure out who's this person or who's this organization that's doing that. They probably have scholarships for that certification. They probably do, because they're the ones that are issuing it, and they want actively people encouraged to do it. So that's where I would start. Tay, thank you for the sharing. Okay. Where can I find scholarships if I want to be in a technical college? I'm going to be a senior in August. Yeah, like I said, I would just start with anything right now. I don't know what that means, technical college, but I would just say start with the resources I mentioned already and go from there. You're welcome for breaking it down. What about the Moss app? I have not used the Moss app, so I cannot speak on the Moss app. I have not used the Moss app. Cannot speak on it. I don't really know anybody who uses it either, so. Okay. Also, please, is Honor Society legit? I've been getting a lot of emails from them. I mean, which Honor Society are you talking about? You just talking about, like, regular National Honor Society? Like, just the regular one? Because there's multiple honor societies. There's National Society of High School Scholars. There's all these different, like, all these honor societies and stuff. But, like, I'm going to say that none of them are, like, scams and stuff or nothing like that, but it's just like, the only reason I would do it is to get the scholarships from it. But like, if you're not actually going to do the scholarship applications, or if they're already past due, probably not even worth it at that point. Building Legacy starts today. Thank you for the gift. Who else is gifting? If I missed it, I'm sorry. I'm not used to gifts. Thank you for the heart. Appreciate it. Let's see. Just, thank you for the gift. Okay. Naturally, thank you for the follow. Scarlett is National Honor Society. Yeah, like there's a lot of different ones. Are scholarships still available right now? Yeah, absolutely. I would say summertime is a great time to be applying to scholarships, because lots of times people are like not really even thinking about it. I'm gonna be honest with you. Like during the summertime, like especially like the early half of the summer, like people are like, okay, school's over, I'm gonna go act a fool now, and I'm not thinking about anything else or my future, so I'm gonna do that. And that's like the perfect time for you to be applying to scholarships, because a lot of people are not going to be doing it. Especially over the summertime, and you have more time. Like, even if you spent 10 hours of your week every week, like that sounds like a lot, but like it's really not. Like, if you that's roughly 2 out, like a little less than 2 hours a day. Imagine you did that, but then you had the rest of your day, the whole summer, to do anything else you want to do. So like, to me, I think right now is a great time to get your summer list of scholarships that you're going to apply to together, and then you can piecemeal, chip by chip every week, chipping off ones and applying to them. Don't stress yourself out by waiting all summer and then trying to apply for 1 million scholarships in August, because that's what a lot of students do, and they're not very successful in doing that, because a lot of people do that. Can they be used for trade schools? So that depends on the scholarship. So I highly recommend, when you're applying to a scholarship, definitely, like, almost every scholarship has like a little FAQ where you, like, it tells you who's eligible for it, who has what requirements are there GPA requirements. So definitely, like, make sure that it can, like, it'll say, for example, like, this scholarship can be used at a 2 or 4 year degree, and then some will say it must be at a 4-year institution. So like, if most trade schools are not 4-year institutions, so you just have to be careful and make sure you read it carefully, like what if you're eligible for it. But yes, there are scholarships out there for sure for trade schools. How can I get a scholarship as a 2-year post-grad? No test scores, no APs. So yeah, I would say, if you've taken some kind of gap year or whatever, as long as you're, like, you have your acceptance and you're planning on enrolling in the next calendar, like in the next, like, academic year, you can apply for scholarships right away. So like, if you're planning on starting school this fall, you should already been applying. My general rule is, like, at least 8 months before you're going to be enrolling, you should start applying. But yeah, like, I think in general, like, it doesn't matter, as long as you're going to be enrolled, you can start. Are locals better? That's a great question. So, are local scholarships better? Absolutely. But a lot of the times, people will not do local scholarships for one of 3 reasons. The first reason is because, number one, a lot of local scholarships are small, so they'll be like $500, $1,000, $2,000, which sounds like nothing, but if you win 4 or 5 of those, that's 10 grand. So to me, there's a reason that we have a whole database for just scholarships that are state and local, and that's called scholarshipsnearme.com. So like, for example, like, all your local scholarships, first of all, they're already restricted by, if you don't live in that area, you can't apply. So that already takes out half the competition. Versus national scholarships, sometimes they see anywhere from 4,000 to 5,000 applications, and like, that's a lot of applications. But there's no way your little town or your little area of 20,000 people is gonna all those students are gonna apply. Like, no, it's not gonna work. It's because national scholarships attract people from all over the country, versus your state and local scholarships are gonna be the ones that are like only the people in your area. So that makes it a lot easier. And then there's also scholarships out there that are like specific for like those high schools in certain areas and counties. So community foundations are a great place to start. I have a free like course about this, like, because it's like, it's not hard, it's just that a lot of people just don't know. So the free course is on my website. It's called Master Local, and essentially every day it gives you tips on how different ways you can find local scholarships, state and local scholarships. So I have so many resources, I'm trying to give it all to you at once, but I can't. So the website is go.scholarshipjunkie.com. So I'm gonna say it again, go.scholarshipjunkie.com. That's my username, just so you guys know, Scholarship Junkie. Go.scholarshipjunkie.com. On the resources page, you're going to see a free course called Master Local that's going to show you exactly how to find these state and local scholarships. You will be a pro. You won't need me. You won't ask me questions, because you will know everything you need to know about finding those local scholarships. So that would be my starting point. That's what I would tell you to do. But like I said, most people don't want to apply for state and local scholarships because they're smaller. But that's a big mistake. And then on top of that, oh, what is this? What is this little puzzle piece making me do here? I don't know what that little puzzle piece was. But, anyways, state and local scholarships, I lost my train of thought. But yeah, yes. Long story short, house, yes. The answer is yes. Does you list for scholarships that don't require parents' income? Yep, a lot of the scholarships that don't have any like need-based requirements or anything. They're just outside scholarships. So yes, to answer your question. All right, I'm missing questions. Hold on. Sorry guys, I'm trying to catch up on these questions. What are you majoring in? I already graduated 2 years ago with my bachelor's and my master's in accounting. KK, thank you for the follow. Thank you for the follow. Karen, thank you for the follow. I just graduated with my bachelor's recently. Are there options for post-grad? Yes, absolutely. I would start with professional organizations in your field. Christina, do you know what school you want? Okay. I think you're trying to say is, do you have to know what school you want to go to be able to apply for scholarships? And the answer is no. If you're applying for scholarships that are outside scholarships. So there's all different types of scholarships out there. Like, for example, like a lot of merit-based scholarships, for example, are like academic scholarships from the school that you're applying to. Like those are typically, you can only use them at that school. But like anything that's like outside scholarships from like a company or something like that, or professional organization, whatever, you can use that at any school. All right, next question. Are there scholarships for undergrad? I was wondering about graduate schools. Yes, there are scholarships for undergrad. I won most of my scholarships during undergrad. Nicole, thank you for the follow. Thank you, Miss Pretty. Thank you for the gifter badge. Glitter Sparkle, thank you for the gifter. Za, thank you for the gifter. What's up with all these gifts? I never get gifts. Is this like a new feature? Anyways, is it too late to sign up and actually win some? My school only gave me $1,000 and it's not enough. Absolutely, it's never too late. Like I said, I thought I was too late too when I started applying as a freshman in college, and look at me now. So it's definitely not too late. Like, just to keep it short. Okay, just for fun. What does that mean? At Soso, thank you for the follow. Za, you're welcome. Thank you so much for talking about this because I needed it. You're so welcome. TPJK, it's the proctor. I don't know what that means. Oh, protector. Oh, you're listening to the music. I was like, what are you talking about? Yeah, I just went to Cowboy Carter yesterday, so I'm like trying to not cry every time I listen to Beyonce now. Jorge shared the live. I have a question. Where do you find those scholarships? So great question. So I always recommend, like, in my opinion, it doesn't really matter how, like, which websites you use, as long as you use at least three different ones. Because if you don't, then you get into the trap of like only, like, there might be a scholarship that's perfect for you, but it's not on this platform, and you missed out on it because you weren't looking at multiple platforms. But like I was saying earlier in the live, my main recommendations, which are all linked in my bio, are Red Kite and Scholarships 360. Mainly, and Red Kite just revamped their whole like website, so it's actually much easier to use now. And then Scholarships 360, you don't even need to sign up for. You can search for scholarships without even putting any information in, which is like a big thing for a lot of people. Yay, thank you for the follow. Do you like Sally, Fastweb, College Raptor, Scholarship Owls? Sally's okay. Fastweb's also okay. Some of the ones you're naming, like, I feel like are like better for like students who are like in school discovery mode. A lot of the scholarship websites I'm recommending are for students who like are not looking for scholarships at a specific school, but just in general. Which, like, I feel like sometimes the websites you mentioned, Za, have like mostly like specific undergraduate scholarships for schools and things like that. Not always, but like sometimes I feel like it's like, okay, you should be able to filter out the ones that are not like that are for a specific university. Because what if you chose a college already? You don't care about what the hell Notre Dame is giving if you've already committed to Auburn. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's why some of the websites I don't really use. Can international students acquire scholarships? Yes, but I definitely recommend, in terms of my resources, is really mostly for U.S. students. So I recommend following Veronica. She's on TikTok and Instagram. Her handle is borderless.io. Hey, if you're in high school, where do you go to get scholarships? Honestly, it's not like a specific place. Like, there's, you can use, when you're in high school, college, whatever, you can use a lot of different things. All right, so Two Stones, do you know of any resources or tips when writing your essays? So yes, so I definitely recommend, I mean, it depends where you are in your process. I would say, like, personally, like, so I have my own, like, membership academy called the Scholarship Essay Academy. And in the Scholarship Essay Academy, I basically walk you through step by step, like in 9 different lessons, exactly how to write a winning essay, how to ideate your essays, how to structure your essays for maximum impact. I show you my winning essays. I show you the winning essays of students that I have had win scholarships before, that I worked with directly. So like for me, if you're looking for like something super duper comprehensive and you want like our coaches to review your essays and you really want like something in depth, I recommend that. The Scholarship Essay Academy is a great resource for that. It's a paid membership, but it is more than worth it. But if you're looking for something a little bit more simple, like just like a free resource, that type of thing, I also have a like an essay like cheat sheet that kind of just walks you through like how you can ideate your essay a little better and write it better. So it's called the Inspiration Cheat Sheet, whatever you want to call it. It's on my website, go.scholarshipjunkie.com. Yeah, go, and it's my username, just if you think I'm talking too fast, go.scholarshipjunkie.com. But yeah, that's where I would start if you were looking for essay tips. Also, there's a free event tomorrow at 3 p.m. The Scholarship Essay Academy is hosting it. Free event tomorrow. That link is also in my bio. It's a free live essay critique. Are they a mass application or is it applied to each individual scholarship individually? So yes, you should be, yes. Most of the time when you're going through these scholarship websites and stuff, you would be applying to scholarships individually, one at a time. There's not like a mass application process or whatever. That wouldn't work because like a lot of scholarships have different prompts and things like that. But yeah. J Love says Scholarships 360 and the other one is Red Kite. It's in the link in my bio as well. J Love Scholarships 360 and Red Kite, they're both linked in my bio, both of those websites, so definitely check those out. Struggling getting scholarships, so any loan suggestions? I mean, obviously, like I'm gonna recommend like like just a regular federal student loan, but if you're maxed out on that or you have to get private student loans, I think Sallie Mae is a good one. I mean, they service so many of them, and like unlike these other companies, they're a huge company, so you're less like, the thing I don't like about like other like private student loan lenders is that like sometimes like because they're smaller, they'll get acquired by like someone else and then your loan moves and like that's like a headache. So if you do Sallie Mae, at least like it's a huge company, so your loan's not going to be getting sold off. It's going to stay with that same company. So that's why like that, if I had to suggest one, it would be that. Za, no problem. Both of those are in my bio if you forget. So don't worry about it. Thank you for all of this. I'm about to go back to school and I'm so nervous about finances. Like, I totally get it. Like, going to school, especially when you're going back to school, like, it's definitely not an easy decision. Like, I had the opportunity to go to, like, a state school for a lot cheaper, back, where I live in New York. And to be honest, I don't regret my decision of, like, going out of state, going to the private school that was a little bit more expensive. Obviously this is all in hindsight, right? After I've been able to win the scholarships, pay it off or whatever. Because, like, I know that place was, like, that school that I went to was meant for me. Like, I really, like, I would not be who I am today without that school. So, like, for me, it, like, I think sometimes the hard decisions and the finances and everything, it's, like, anxiety-inducing. But, like, I've gotten that money back in tenfold in the friendships I've made, in, the character of the person I am today, from being at that school. Like, so yeah, I don't regret any decisions that I made. Even if I did graduate with a little bit of debt, I would have still been happy because I had a great experience. So thank God I didn't, but if I did, I still would think it was worth it. Just the finances thing was definitely nerve-wracking for me. As like, it's my background, we were a low income like household, so like it was like the idea of like taking out loans and stuff was like very scary. So like the scholarships definitely helped, because even if you don't like graduate debt free or whatever, even if you just won $5,000 like every year, let's just say you just started school and you won $5,000 every year, that's 20 grand by the time you graduate. So if you were going to graduate with 20 grand in debt, 25 grand in debt, now you're only graduating with 5 grand. Tell me that doesn't make a huge difference. Like 100% it does. So, you know, it's one of those things. You're welcome. Thank you for the gifter badge. Appreciate it. Well, guys, this was like a very productive live. Don't you guys think? I think this was very productive. I definitely recommend, I'm going to get off of here, but I definitely recommend, if you don't know kind of like where you're going to start with everything, start with my website, The Scholarship Collective. I have a free newsletter. It comes out every week, twice a week, giving you scholarship tips and different scholarships you can apply for. And then, obviously, follow my page. It's a little dry this last couple of weeks, but I post on Instagram every single day. Every single day. So follow me on Instagram. I'm so glad to hear that. J-Love, thank you so much for tuning into the live. Vane, I don't know if I'm saying that right. Yvonne, it was great talking with you guys. Thank you. I appreciate you guys. Maybe I'll go live more often. Who knows? This could be a new thing. Who knows? But thank you guys so much for joining, and have a beautiful Memorial Day weekend, guys. Enjoy yourselves.